I have a friend of work, and I think this was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I accidentally, instead of playing her voice message, I played mine, and it's like, oh my God, I speak like this. And also because I told you I work for the cryptocurrency industry. So I was discussing something really serious about cryptocurrencies. Like, who the would believe this is not a scam? I sound like a scam talking about cryptocurrencies.
Hello, welcome to Comedy with an Accent podcast. I'm your Taiwanese comedian, Kuan-wen. I interview comedians who perform English stand-up comedy but who are not native English speakers, or they can have a very distinct British regional accent. This podcast is all about comedy, about accent, about languages, and about the comedy technique. So stay tuned if you're interested. Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Comedy with an Accent podcast. I have the honor to invite today the newly crowned LGBTQ New Comedian of the Year in the UK 2022, Victoria Olsina. Welcome.
Thank you, Juan. Thank you for...
So you can already notice the difference in energy. I'm super hyper. I'm like a puppy on heat. And you have this, this deep fridge, the freezer. Actually, when I was thinking how to introduce you, I thought about you winning the competition, which was just about 2-3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago, yeah.
So you can claim until the next one is produced, you're the funniest gay comedian on the circuit.
Yeah, I say that a lot.
You say that a lot, but you have to remember that's below professional level, right? Because you're the new comedian, not like the over.
I know that, but people don't have to know it.
Exactly.
Who
It's all
knows
about
that?
marketing.
You and me.
I was the MC when Victoria did the first round heat. And I was like, wow, this comic is confident. I want to see her go until the very end. But I was meant to MC the final. Guess what happened? I had COVID. So you can't always play live. When I was going through how to introduce you, so I had in mind I'm going to talk about the LGBTQ New Comedian of the Year. And I was about to say you're the newly minted New Comedian of the Year. And I start to doubt myself. Is that the correct English expression?
Like an NFT. I was minted.
Minted. No, at minted will be the actual physical
Yeah, I
coin,
know.
right? Yeah. But then I thought, I remember vaguely somewhere in my brain, I've heard of that someone is newly minted. But then I also remember minted seems to suggest someone who's like really rich in a negative way, like he's minted. So I actually had to go on a not dictionary, there's no dictionary around me. I had to go on internet to double check. So you're newly crowned and newly minted LGBTQ New Comedian of the Year. Victoria, you're the second Spanish speaker on the podcast so far. But when I tried to greet you the other day with the Spanish I learned from my very first Spanish-speaking guest, Isa, and I say, ¿Qué te cuentas? And just you let me come, you said, we don't say that in Argentina, which is Victoria is from Argentina.
Exactly.
What do you say?
¿Qué onda? ¿Cómo estás?
Is it you throughout Latin America or is it just Argentina?
Well, Latin America is big.
I know. I'm not ignoring.
There is a billion people. There is a billion people spread across a continent, a whole continent. I mean, the people in the US call themselves America, and it's like...
Oh, the grievance. And we always know it's not accurate, but if you don't call people from the United States American, what is the alternative way of calling them?
I don't know. They have to invent their own thing. We say, in Spanish, we say estadounidense, United Stater. We don't say Americans.
It doesn't click right. You call someone United Stater.
Well, America is a continent that is split into three. You could call them North Americans if you wanted.
You can't, because Canadians are also
what about Mexicans that are also North American?
Well, see, the problem is technically North and South America are terms to be defined purely geographically, right?
Yeah.
But human brain doesn't always function in a scientific way. So human brain takes shortcuts. So I think for a very long time, people just associate South America with Latin America.
Exactly.
When I think of Mexico, they wouldn't think they would just think that they are not rich enough to be in
Yeah, no, but you are right that people confuse geography with culture. So Latin American is a cultural concept.
Yeah.
If you're Mexican, you live in North America, and you're Latin American.
So are people from Belize Latin American?
Yeah.
Are they? But
Yeah.
do they speak Spanish?
Yeah.
I thought they were English colony.
No, Belize speaks in Spanish. There are many islands like Jamaica, Trinidad,
I
Saint
thought Belize
Lucia.
is a little strip on the Central American strip. It's not an island, though. Are you confusing what I pronounce as a different thing?
Would you like to Google it?
Okay, so there are 7 countries in the little Central American bit, right?
Yeah.
Like Guatemala,
Nicaragua.
Honduras, Panama. And one of them used to be an English colony. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
But do they speak Spanish these days? I'm sure.
Now you're making me doubt myself. I think that people in Belize speak in Spanish, but how could I know if I don't have a computer or a phone next to me?
What about people on the Falkland Islands?
They don't speak. They don't speak Spanish, unfortunately.
I think they take pride in not speaking Spanish. I'm sorry, it's not 10 minutes in. I have to bring this up because you're from Argentina.
I don't know why people in the Falkland Islands take pride of anything. They live in the worst part of Argentina. It's always raining. Probably food is shit, and probably they're ugly, like everyone in Britain.
You
And
just
why
say
do
that they
take-
live in the worst part of Argentina. I don't believe people who live on Falkland and think they live in Argentina.
Well, if you check them up, you will see.
Let's get the name correct. Okay, in your version, their name is not Falkland. How do you say that in Spanish?
Malvinas.
Malvinas.
Also, do you know the amount of abuse and trolls we're going to get? Because I have just said, well, I have just stated a geographical truth.
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever. These are my belief. Trolls from the internet.
No, you will never get to the bottom of this. There will always be fiercely debated discussion.
I know.
And what's most interesting is that pedophile from the royal family was even involved in this. You know that his public profile, Prince Andrew, was enhanced because of the Falkland War.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why he cannot sweat.
You see, Argentinian owed the young girls an apology because he was able to sexually harass those young girls because Argentina enhanced his profile. See, did you see the connection? It's like a ripple effect, butterfly effect.
So now we're responsible.
That just made Victoria gasp for a second, unable to speak. So, Victoria, do you think you have an accent when you speak English?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. I think you change your answers because I was running the Night of the Same Name comedy with an accent and you're on my very first edition on May 28th. I remember when I asked you, I don't know whether you were joking, but you casually mentioned that, oh, you are looking for a performer with accents. I guess I don't qualify then. And I thought, Victoria, I don't know you well, so I'm not going to say this in your face. But of all my guests, you're probably one of the most eligible, the one I'm most comfortable asking because your accent was quite palpable. I mean, I have no problem understanding you, but you definitely have an accent.
I know. Sometimes I'm listening to my messages in English. I have a friend of work, and I think this was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I accidentally, instead of playing her voice message, I played mine, and it's like, oh my God, I speak like this. And also because I told you I work for the cryptocurrency industry. So I was discussing something really serious about cryptocurrencies. Like, who the would believe this is not a scam? I sound like a scam talking about cryptocurrencies. I know it's a sensitive topic. A lot of people think it's a scam. So imagine myself with this accent talking about the crypto debacle, the bear market, how it's a good opportunity to buy right now. Like, who will believe this?
Okay, I need to add a few more context. People might get confused. First, Victoria, also comedy. You have quite a successful daytime career in the tech industry.
Yeah.
You're like a consultant and you advise on SEO, which is the term I hear all the time, which I always assume to be a variation
scam.
of a CEO. But no, the term is called a search engine optimization.
Yeah.
Basically, how to scam more people to your website.
Now, search engine optimization specialists put websites first on Google. There are more legitimate ways to do that.
Yeah, let's come to this later because I just want to add the context. So you're talking about when you misheard or you send a message from your colleague and you heard yours instead. And your colleague was British?
No, she's American.
She's American, but she doesn't have like a strong regional accent. She
No,
has
no,
like
no.
a standard American accent. And compared to hers, it dawned on you, Jesus, Holy Jesus, I don't know, Holy Maria, I don't know how you say in Spanish. That contrast that really dawned on you. You do have an accent.
Yeah. And also talking about kind of a controversial industry. It's like,
I agree, like people will be on alert when they
Yeah.
hear a scammer
Yeah.
with a bit of foreign accent. But to your advantage, I think financial fraud and scams in the UK, the accent typically is not a Spanish accent. I think typically...
Southeast Asian, would you say?
No, I think a lot of time more African or Middle Eastern.
Like the Nigerian prince that sends you
Yeah. And also the non-fraudster, they try to pretend they live in the country. They typically come from a West African territory. I'm not trying to be racist here. I think there's a statistic. But even though you had a tangible Spanish accent, I don't think the accent is very closely associated with financial scams. So.
Maybe more in the US, because there is more, well, there's a lot of Latinos in the US. They are generally associated to lower paid jobs, many times to crime, depending who is the president in charge. So, yeah, they are the dodgy immigrants.
Yeah, that the dodgy immigrant the Latinos plays in the US in social stereotypes.
Exactly.
Here would be East Europeans.
Yes, exactly.
So it would be more like a Romanian or the Polish.
Yeah, I am the Romanian of.
No, you're not. You're the. If you had decided to go to the US, I have to say, in one of the videos I found, I could not believe you had a fringe and long hair when you were working at Barclays. I don't know if I should cut it out. Can I just say that when you were talking in that video, somehow your accent was more muted, but you look soulless. You look like a miserable corporate robot.
I was a miserable corporate robot. But that day, that's the first conference I spoke at.
Okay.
And that day, I realized I wanted to be a comedian. That day, in that conference, I hadn't started comedy
You know
yet.
that your hairstyle back then, it looks almost like a wig. But that hairstyle is so not the Victoria I know. Even though I don't know you very well, I was just like, who is this person? The Victoria I know is so fun in a deadpan way, so full of life in a deadpan way. But this soulless robot is like a really cheaply made Chinese version.
I hadn't found myself. That was my first year in London.
When was it?
Is that video 2017?
You chose to come up to the
2018.
Brexit vote.
Yeah, because I said, okay, they are going to kick Europeans out. I'm here with an Italian passport. I'm going to get in before.
So you didn't come here legally as Argentinian?
No, I have a European passport.
Because you should have been queuing outside the street trying to get a piece of paper.
Yeah.
But you came here rather cunningly as a Italiana.
Yes,
Okay.
because my great-grandfather is Italian. Yeah.
So in 2017, you came to the UK.
No, 16.
Initially worked in a
2016.
big corporate
Yeah,
environment.
I started at Barclays, I think it was March 2017.
What kind of visa are you on now? Are you in a settlement scheme?
Yeah, I'm settled and I'm applying for my passport. I can apply by the end of the year.
Okay.
That would be the biggest joke, that I'm British. The joke's on you, Britain. I was new in the UK. I was working for a company that evidently is not aligned with
Can I say
everything.
morally bankrupt?
Well, cryptocurrencies are also morally bankrupt, but it's more fun. Anyway, it's fine. It was my first job in the UK. It was very important for my career. I met some people that were not robots, but I wasn't a good cultural fit. And it's fine, but it paid the bills. And I got my first speaking opportunity. I have spoken at webinars and conferences in Argentina, but never in the UK. And they needed a woman. They called me.
Oh my God, they
and
needed
said,
a woman.
We need a woman. And it's like, it didn't matter. Nobody knew if I could speak or not. And it's like, I speak like this. It was like early Me Too movement that people were starting talking about equal lineup. Half women, half men, or some women. And it's not very common in tech conferences. This was an SEO conference to have so many women. So they needed women. That was the only requirement.
It's so funny, but we need to dial back a little bit. So when you got the call, was it an email or a call?
It was a call from an SEO software that we were using at Barclays. This gets more and more bizarre, more obscure every sentence that I say. So it's an enterprise SEO software. We were a good client, and they called me because they needed a woman to speak at this conference.
Right. Were you offended when they... Okay, so your inner thoughts were, are you serious? I sound like this. My English is quite accented. Are you sure you want to get me to do a public speaking thingy?
No, I didn't say that. I just thought this person has read my name, Victoria Olsina. Like Victoria, I sound like maybe I speak English. And probably is surprised to hear me right now, the way I'm speaking. And I said, yes, I would love to. Now you will have to.
No, but in 2017, you didn't sound quite as confident with your accent. Whatever happened when you first arrived, maybe it's a cultural shock, maybe it's a big corporate environment, because I used to work in big corporates. And in big corporates, there are a lot of people who just somehow happened to end up there, didn't have much substance. And they were so insecure, they need to put a lot of things up to feel good about themselves. And one of the things they do is to step up other people or make other people feel little. So I'm sure there would have been some sort of passive-aggressive comments, seemingly as joke, but aimed at you is that, but you're foreign, but you have that accent. Wow, you get it.
I know.
So I wonder whether those kind of experience and they build up the microaggression made you doubt your eligibility for a public speaking role.
No, it didn't make me doubt. It made me feel that because of the way I spoke, people thought that I either was not smart or not educated or that I was poor, something like that. Underprivileged. I had some level of underprivilege. The poor immigrants, I think that
you're probably in the highest...
poor immigrants are not a problem in those corporate environments. The problem is the immigrant that is their boss. That's when they resent you. That's when because it's a mirror. The immigrant who is your boss is like, why this person that arrived here with no contacts or no money end up being your boss? What you did? There were things that you didn't do, evidently. There were things that were under your control, and the locals resent you when that happens.
That's why you should never judge people by their accents. I'm sure they all misplace the income tax bracket Victoria is in.
Yeah.
Unless she's using very smart tax avoidance scheme.
I have a limited company, so...
I'm only joking because I'm a certified tax advisor.
I know. Well, I have a limited and a holding company, so I'm good.
We're talking about IR 35 here. Anyway, cool.
Don't worry about that.
All right, no, don't tell me things I shouldn't know because I'm aware of something that
I'm
I have
an agency.
I can see. Okay, so you accepted public speaking role, but you were looking miserable. But however, your English sounded very refined. Like, even though you probably had a stronger accent at that time, it felt like you rehearsed every single syllable in every single sentence. You were so careful. You were treading on thin ice. Every inch you're moving forward, you were constantly making sure you're pronouncing English as neutral as possible. And that's one of the reasons I described you were a soulless corporate robot in that film. But your English did sound as neutral as it could be at that time, given like your accent at that time.
So you watched that video.
I watched that. And that's the video I enjoy the most out of all the videos.
Well, you see the evolution of my character from not doing comedy to doing comedy.
And you say that's the reason why you think I should do comedy.
No, because that was the first time somebody told me, I left the stage and somebody asked me if I did stand-up comedy. So that video in that conference was hilarious. You see it and it's like, this soulless person, what is she doing? Why does she speak like this? But that, for SEO standards, was hilarious. Like never done before.
Oh my God.
Somebody asked me, one of the organizers, when I came down stage, said, have you ever done stand-up comedy? And I said, no. I said, you should do it. And it was the first time somebody told me, a total stranger. Now you see that video is pathetic. Like you would say, well, probably she shouldn't do a stand-up.
No, that's not pathetic. The way I would describe it is, do you know Katherine Tate? She's a renowned British comedian and she does a lot of sketches. Anyway,
yeah,
that video of you trying to speak or talk about something serious, look at a comedian that assumes a caricature character of a soulless corporate John
That's the truth. I didn't
with a
know.
wig.
I didn't know I wanted to be a comedian. I knew I didn't want to work there. But now whenever I meet people and whenever I pitch things to clients, I'm more myself. And that's, if they want to work with me, that's what they get. And my clients appreciate that.
Can I say that I really want to be your friend right now after this podcast? And before, I was just happy being a friendly colleague to you. You're fascinating. This is so funny. What I'm saying is, from my perspective, Argentina is so far away from my home country. The only time I ever thought of Argentina, one was a famous film from Wong. I don't know if you know him.
I don't know.
He made a movie with Tony Leung, who was in Shang-Chi, the new Asian Marvel movie, and he was the villain. He's one of Hong Kong's finest actor. And in the 90s, he made the film called Happy Together.
Okay.
Somehow the director decided to have the film entirely directed in Buenos Aires. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Buenos Aires.
Buenos Aires, in the Argentinian capital city. It was such an exotic cinematography for Asian filmgoers at that time. That's my first impression of Argentina. Second is that a friend of mine was having a bit of third-life, quarter-life crisis. So she abandoned what she was doing in Taiwan, and she just moved to Argentina to learn tango. This is like a less privileged version of white European going on a backpack trip to find themselves. And she actually found her husband later in Argentina. It was a German guy who went to Argentina to learn tango. So initially I was like, oh, she's quite, I don't know, naive. But then she's like, oh, the plan actually worked. But that's all I know about Argentina. And the reason I brought this up, I might have to cut them all out, is for British people, their view of Argentina is so two-dimensional. I think it can be summed up in 3 to 4 things. For the football fan, it's Maradona. And godforsaken illegal hand.
That's
hand
illegal.
Of the God. That's
but the Falkland Islands are British.
Okay. Number 2 gotta be Falkland Islands. Like, we won the war actually for a declining ex-empire.
Yeah, like Britain.
Yeah, like Britain. If there's any difficulty for Britons to accept that they're declining, it's because Argentina decided to start the war and gave them their boost. Number 3, there's the most popular nighttime television on Saturday is Strictly Come Dancing, which is known as Dancing with the Stars around the globe. So you know it's getting serious when I get into the, not just tango, but the Argentine Tango Week. I think that's all people know about Argentina, probably an Argentinian steak, and that's it. It's like zero, nothing else. Would you agree with that as an Argentinian living in the UK?
I would agree with that.
You agree with that? How do you fit into those very specific
buckets of Dancing with Stars, Maradona, and Falkland War?
Oh no, I forgot. Madonna pillaged it. Don't Cry for Me, Argentina.
Eva Perón.
I remember I was in the UK when I was in 1998 during World Cup. England was facing Argentina yet again. And the cover page of The Sun, the newspaper, they had Madonna's version of Don't Cry for Me, Argentina on the balcony. And then they just changed her face to David Beckham. Yes, David Beckham, Brooklyn Beckham's dad, David Beckham's face. But I don't remember whether they won or lost that specific game.
Can you include on the video, like the, please, the page?
I will. I would do a lot of editing. I would do, when I was talking, all the things I've been raised, I'll be adding like Argentinian state pop and then the Argentinian tango, Argentine tango. It was Vincent Simone and Flavia Cacace on Strictly for a very long time. But both of them are Italians. And I think both of them have retired from Strictly Come Dancing.
Most tango dancers are not Argentinian.
Exactly. Do you feel like you should claim intellectual property on this?
I don't know. I mean, first of all, tango is a dance and a rhythm of Buenos Aires on its own. It's not popular from the whole of Argentina.
It is not?
No.
Oh, did you find it insulting to suggest tango is an Argentinian thing rather than just a Buenos Aires?
I think it's a common misperception that everyone in Argentina dances tango. No, it's something, first of all, it was born in Buenos Aires in the early 20th century.
We should let the podcast audience know, because I think they do know Argentina. They probably have been assuming you're from the capital city, but you're actually not. We need to give them that context.
Okay, yeah, I'm from Córdoba, second biggest city of Argentina, the Birmingham of Argentina.
Is it as...
Scary place.
Because I remember looking on the map, it's sort of like landlocked in the middle,
Yeah,
right?
in the middle. There's nothing in Córdoba. It's like the Midlands, something like that.
If South America is a person you want to kill it, Cordoba is like the heart, something like in the middle, or like a belly button.
They call it the heart of the country, yeah.
The heart of the country,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So you're from the provinces, basically.
Yeah.
You are not from the capital city. You were explaining that tango derive or develop in the capital city. It's actually not a national thing to start with, initially at least.
Yeah, initially.
Okay.
Obviously, you will find tango schools in many places, but the epicenter of everything is in Buenos Aires. Obviously, it's a very big city. Probably most pro tango dancers live there. There is a lot of arrabales. Arrabales is a place where people hang out and dance tango. In my city in particular, in Córdoba, I think there's one or two places where you can hang out and dance tango. Buenos Aires is full of places where you can do this. Also because there's a lot of tourists that come to Buenos Aires to learn how to dance tango.
A side question, sorry if I'm distracting you. Buenos Aires means good air in Spanish, right?
Yeah.
It would be really funny if there's a strong air pollution problem.
There is.
I love it. So a city called Good Air has air pollution. Yeah. Oh, I love it. This is marvelous. This is like joke being written by God itself, if you believe in God. All right. Sorry. So you were saying about tango. How did I got this far? I agree. Argentine tango specifically, because there's a lot of flicking, like the women have to do their legs. Yeah. I thought it's pretty, but if you think about how clumsy ordinary people are, it's a massive health and safety hazard. And it looks more like when you go to a seafood restaurant, when you can pick your own...
Where's that coming? Where's this going?
Bear with me on this one. Okay. When you try to pick the creature you're about to eat, I think an Argentine tango feels like your finger just accidentally get nicked and grabbed by a langoustine. And the langoustine is not letting go. And it's just flipping the claws around too. Much as it's pretty, maybe because I'm a gay man, I probably am not sexually attracted to females. I look at the whole...
but there is gay tango as well, queer tango. Actually, for Pride, last Thursday, the Argentine embassy organized an event with a queer tango performer.
Oh my God, how do they keep it from descending that into a full-on orgy? I mean, like with Argentine tango...
It's an embassy! You could have an orgy in an embassy. I think, everywhere you could have a...
I don't know if I do not have to mark this episode explicit.
Yeah, but why could then gay people, whether they are women or men or trans or whatever they consider themselves to be, dance?
No, you can. You're absolutely right. And last year, the UK strictly had their second ever same-sex couple. Yeah.
And was it an orgy?
It wasn't an orgy, but I think one of them might have been wishing it to happen. No, I'm just joking. And we had this discussion last Friday when we were all performing.
We were famous last Friday. We performed at Soho Theatre.
Because we did a show at Soho Theatre, but I think we just... Never mind. I don't know if people think I'm just name dropping, but before that show... You are name dropping. Okay, I won't edit this out because Victoria instructed me to keep the name dropping bit. Okay, before the show, we had a short discussion. And I say that you had a very deadpan... How do I say it? Okay, so you're very different from me when we perform. We go for different approach to make people laugh. A good deal of your jokes are really strong one-liners. And I always admire people that can do that because that means that they have to have the belief every single line is strong enough or they are deliberately bad to cleanse the palate. They have to hold their nerve and not just jump on to the next joke. I do all those jumping onto the next joke a lot. I do my joke more like a throwaway comment. And I typically do it in a way that I'm telling a story. Oh, by the way, did you notice this? And I move on to the next thing. I am not naturally inclined to do the way you do comedy, which I admire a lot, but I think it doesn't suit me and it's too late for me to change style. The one-liner bit you do takes a lot of craft and confidence. You really amped it up with a deadpan energy. And this is what I want to come to from your earlier discussion of your daytime job and your accent. naturally, when you have a foreign accent, people will form an opinion of you. They might think you more as a joker act, but your stage presence is so powerful. You make people either forget or overlook you have a Spanish accent. Do you see what I'm getting at?
Compliments.
Compliment. Okay, I thought she was gonna say no. Then I have to
No, I understand what you say, but also this is like the perception. Your perception is the first time that I hear somebody that says this.
Yeah, because it would seem really funny if I just come to you and say, Victoria, oh my God, the way you just do this, outside this podcast environment, it sounds like I'm networking, licking your ass to the bits. And also, people sometimes don't like their comment to be analyzed. And I think when they agree to do a podcast comedy interview, they probably accept to a certain degree they can be analyzed. And that's why I feel more comfortable because I think about this a lot. Whenever I see another comics perform, I would think this is what he or she or they do best. Can I replicate that? Sometimes my conclusion is I can't because it's either not compatible with what I do right now or I just don't have the ability to do certain things. So in your case, the reason people will disregard or overlook your accent is because when you do those one-liners, you're really down to the nitty-gritty. Every single word, every single syllable, even the intonation in a sentence counts. It's all measured and trial and tested. As a result, you had such a powerful build-up and the reveal of the punchline. The audience are with you. You have that entirely in your control. So they didn't have the time or the spare mental space to remind themselves, actually, this comic has an accent. Or they remember you have an accent, but they just don't mind at all. Because in some of your one-liner jokes, you joke about you being Argentinian, right? Mm-hmm. And you play on those stereotypes, but you always kept them in your grip entirely throughout.
I think you have seen me in good shows. I mean, the good thing about comedy is that you can one day performing at the Clap and Grind in front of 400 people and the next day in front of 5.
I want to come back to the accent bit. And I probably should have asked this question a while ago. Do you think, like now, your accent is strong? Or is it mine?
I told you about this listening to my own voice note. When I wrote that joke, I said, what? Why do you speak like this? You sound stupid. When I heard that talking about the bear crypto market and how it was a good opportunity to buy Ethereum right now, it's like, who will believe me? Now, if you listen to me in Spanish, the opposite thing will happen. In Spanish, the persona is different because I don't have an accent. You can pick some traits, like, okay, she has a regional accent, but I don't have an accent that would make you think.
I wouldn't think you're thick, basically.
No.
From my perspective, I don't know whether it's strong or not, but I can sense it's actually not your accent. Your accent is an evidence of that. I think the English language plays a few more restriction on your ability to express yourself.
Yeah,
compared to Spanish. When I watched the Spanish video.
Oh my God! How many you watch all of the SEO videos?
Well, if I'm gonna interview you for an hour and a half, shouldn't I do some homework? That's the decency, right?
So you watch these videos in Spanish of me talking about SEO.
I was so bored. I mean, I used to work for like an internet company, and when I hear about all those like young dudes in shorts and skateboard and talking about SEO, whatever those BS, I just want to fall asleep. And only watching those videos again because I want to interview you today.
Okay, in Spanish.
You are quite lively when you speak Spanish. We had this discussion before we did the show on Friday. And I say that, but you sounded like you were just a bit more two-dimensional. And you crack a joke. You say that, well, it's not that Argentina is regarded as two-dimensional. It's that, in fact, Argentina is two-dimensional. You either love it or hate it. You then mentioned, probably also because I couldn't express myself quite as well when I speak English. When I speak Spanish, I'm quite different. You mentioned that to me on Friday, and that's why I want to get to this point. Yeah. I just wondered, because you started doing comedy in English. You didn't try to do it in Spanish before. When you chose the comedy archetype or style or the approach, it was influenced by your self-assessed fluency in English. So I wonder if you had tried to start doing stand-up comedy in Spanish first, whether you would have decided not to do a more deadpan delivery. Do you know what
Probably
I mean?
not.
Yeah.
Probably not. I think, as you said, I'm more of a lively character in Spanish. I find it easier to make sad comments. I'm not concerned about being precise. In English, I'm concerned about being precise, about saying the right word, the right verb tense, and say it accordingly.
So
In
you're
Spanish,
saying that by going deadpan and doing a lot of one-liners is for you to have a better chance to measure or to neutralize your accent?
I don't know if I decided, if I made a conscious decision of being deadpan. I think that your character persona develops in a way. At the beginning, I didn't want to talk about being foreigner. I wanted to talk about whatever the thing without addressing that. But I think it's important to address it like, hi, I'm Victoria, I'm from Argentina. That's the explanation of this accent. I like to give some background of where I come from. It's not like, oh, I'm Irish and people know what Irishness is about.
Yeah, so you were building up so that the jokes that comes later makes more sense, right?
Yeah.
And one side of that is you're from Argentina, but the other side is you're lesbian.
Yeah.
And you have to mention that at the start of your set so that some jokes will make more sense or have a bigger payoff towards the end of your set.
Yeah.
Was that your own discovery or was that after discussion with the comedy course tutor?
About mentioning I'm a lesbian?
About introducing who you are first, to like really get those done early on.
No, I didn't do it. And nobody told me. I realized later on that's how you do it. Yeah, I wasn't told this in the course. And probably I wish I had been told. The first thing a non-white comedian would say is something about their physical appearance. Also, when people are... I mean, if I had a patch in my eye, probably I would say, hi, and I have a patch in my eye because blah, 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 blah. So whatever doesn't, I don't even want to call it fit in the norm. Well, the logic of comedy or the norm in comedy is white, straight men, and whatever doesn't fit into able-bodied, let's call it. I don't know if we can say able-bodied anymore.
The default people expect is white straight man with a certain body shape or a certain sort of visual look.
Yeah.
Anything that deviates from that.
You have to explain it.
You have to explain.
I feel you have to explain.
I wholly and fully agree with that, yes. And I think we both are in a category of having quite a lot to explain before we can...
Yeah, well, but also Taiwan people, it's not that people know a lot of things about Taiwan.
I have so many things to explain. You know, sometimes people ask me after they meet me, are Taiwanese people also camp? Some of them even say, I thought Asian people are slim. You have no idea how offensive. One of your jokes, you mentioned that beauty tip is not being 100% white. Which is the non-white bit you're talking about? Because you definitely come across to me as the Caucasian woman. But I would not hold it against you because Mariah Carey, for example, is a quarter black. But you won't be able to see that.
So before living in the UK, I lived in New Zealand for 3 years. Mm-hmm. That was the first time I lived abroad. I was flatting.
You're flatting. You're renting.
Yeah, sharing a flat with other people.
Is flatting a word in English? No, okay, right, okay. But I got you. See, this is the magic of two non-native English guys. People probably think you're flatlined, you're plateaued, but I instantly get you're trying to say this is the beauty of a non-native English speaker interviewer. Anyway, sorry,
I was living in New Zealand, and once my flatmate, her mom was from New Zealand and her dad was from Fiji, so mixed race. She said, well, you know, white people don't like to discuss money. And I said, well, what's wrong with that? I'm white and I like to discuss money. And she started laughing. Like she couldn't stop laughing. And she was like, Victoria, but you're not white. And that was the first time in my life at the age of 26 that I heard somebody saying that I wasn't white.
Why
and
it was like white?
And it was like, what is she saying? And she said, no. White people are blonde, blue-eyed, Caucasian, like our other flatmate, Monica. Monica walks in and Roshni says, Monica, did you know that Victoria believes she's white? And Monica, again, couldn't stop laughing. And I was shocked. I was like...
So they believe Southern Europeans are not white.
Yeah. And then
I dread to think what kind of YouTube channel this girl watches.
Yeah. So then I got a lot of bizarre explanations. So it's like, what... It was the first time I heard this. She told me, well, no, your skin is not white, it's olive. And then I called I don't know, it was my mom or what friend, and said, do you know, we're not white.
And did she spill out some beans that actually Victoria, grandma has been naughty when she was a young girl?
No, all Argentinians believe they're white. And then I went online and I found a lot of memes about other people mocking Argentinians for
That is
believing
true.
that they're
I know.
white.
That I know.
It's like
because the majority of Latin Americans are what you call in Spanish mestizos, right?
Mixed race, yeah.
Yeah, mixed race. And there's a lot of either Black or Native Americans. But due to the high percentage of Italian immigration in Argentina, Argentinians tend to have a lighter skin tone compared to Peruvians or people from Ecuador. So Argentinians like to think they are the Europeans of Latin America.
Yeah.
That's why when you had the financial crisis, I'm pretty sure people try to pretend they sympathize with you, but there's a lot of schadenfreude that people serve them right across the whole entire Latin American continent.
Yeah, so Argentinians are convinced they're white, and there are memes. If you search for Argentina is white memes, you will find I'm not white, Argentinians are not white, people mock us because we think we are white. We are someone's joke.
Okay, so I think that girl you met equate the term white to Aryan, which is a debate I don't want to get into, especially given the state of the world. But when you say you're not 100% white, what you meant is you are Southern European heritage. Or is there some traditionally considered non-white race in your family tree?
Yeah, my great-grandmother was native.
Native Americans.
Native from Córdoba. The native people from Córdoba are called comechingones. It's a native tribe from Córdoba.
So when you do math, that makes you 12 and 5%?
I don't know.
What's your accent in Argentina like? What's the perception of people from Córdoba in the eyes of people from the capital city?
People from Córdoba have a very funny accent because we speak like singing. So, for example, Córdoba capital, Cordobese people say Córdoba capital. So it's like a...
Is it like the Latin American version of yodeling? Okay, the question is, we're almost running out of time. You know, in Toy Story 3, Buzz Lightyear was accidentally turned into... I think I just made the technician laugh again today. I'm rocking killing that. Toy Story 3, Buzz Lightyear was accidentally switched into a Spanish-speaking mode, right? And his entire character changed. He started to try to dance flamenco with Jessie, like the cowgirl. And I asked a Spanish friend once, like, how do you deal with this? Because you already speak Spanish. And they told me in the Spanish version, the default position was changed into an accent for Andalusia in the Spanish version. So Buzz Lightyear in Toy Story 3 went from the national standard Spanish accent to a more laid-back Southern Andalusian accent. Do you know how they deal with this in Argentina?
I haven't seen the last.
I just explained. I spent 2 minutes explaining this and you have no idea.
But what you are saying is the opposite that happens to me.
Oh.
I'm a lively character that when you switch the English off, it's the opposite.
I'm fascinated by it, but I think if it only was accidental, as in when you decided to do the more sort of deadpan and measured and one-liner delivery, then I think it's a beautiful mistake. Not mistake, if it was only because you took the circumstances at that time into account, I think it's a brilliant decision. It works out really well for you so far. And I think you're still evolving.
Yeah, I mean, this is not the final, the final.
You won
version.
the final, but the final was just the start. You know, like I remember once I said you remind me a bit of Notaro. Some people really don't like to be compared to famous, already established comedian. But anyone that does to me, you know, on YouTube, someone called me like, oh, he's basically a Chinese Alan Carr. But I love it. If I am remotely to the level of Alan Carr, I'll be grateful. But I watch more Notaro today. I don't think you're fully that. You're just you. Like you quote on your website, you know, one of the finals judges, Stephen Bailey, said you are a Argentinian Katherine Ryan, which I don't fully agree. I think you have the sassiness, but you're different. You're in your own right. And I think if I see you in a month or two, you'll be even more different again. Actually, I wanted to say at the start of this recording, I think Victoria normally give a bit of dominatrix energy. She always wears black. Like, she's a young lady, but she always wears demure. But you decided to come up with a beautiful light color summer dress, which I went for this, what I call the Kill Bill Mafia Boss Mistress t-shirt. I'm just like, what? I was meant to go. Anyway.
To your comment on Katherine Ryan and Notaro, maybe I am between Katherine Ryan and Notaro. I was surprised about that Catherine Ryan comment. Funny.
He was coming from the place, I'm guessing, I don't know what his actual thoughts were. You don't give a shit about the people you're making fun of, your onstage persona. And that just couldn't care less, that sort of attitude, that confidence. I think he was on about confidence. I was reading about Catherine Ryan's sort of interview, I can't remember where, and she said that she get a lot of people who enjoy dominatrix services and asking her whether she could be the dominatrix. And she then said it's a confidence thing because they don't expect women to have confidence in stand-up comedy. It's a very macho world. So when a woman shows confidence on stage, they would worship her as dominatrix.
I think that most women in comedy are quite loud.
You have a point to make to prove? I'm really careful around this point.
A lot of, like, most female acts, I see that they are like, or I feel, yeah, they're very loud or very shouty or very, it's like if you are a woman on stage, you have to be high energy. I don't know why.
You just prove that it's not necessarily the case.
That's why I'm the winner.
You know? Okay, we'll end on that bitchy note, so you have no way to come back from that. Where can people find? It's way too short, maybe, but in a few years' time, we'll definitely have you back for episode 2. Yeah, your social media, please.
So do you want my LinkedIn or my? If you want to hire me for your SEO services, no, don't. Crypto advice as well. On Instagram, Victoria_comedy. And yeah, I have many shows coming soon. I have a queer women comedy night in London. You have your comedy with an accent also in London. And possibly these nights will continue to exist.
Yes, I only don't do it because July is too hot to do indoor shows. Your comedy night's name is great. It's called Clandestina. Okay, we'll end on that. Thank you for coming on the podcast today. That is Victoria Olsina. We're going to go for dinner now. Bye.
Thank you.